Um, Hello, everybody. This is Pavlos from the Just a Couple Metalheads podcast. I kind of want to let you know that this was our second take. Basically, recorded about an hour and a half of really excellent, very good footage, which some of the best I've ever heard. But sadly, due to corrupt files happening and internet, not internet, computer going, yeah, we couldn't insert that to you. We're sorry. Um, yeah, enjoy this episode. We're doing greetings and salutations, all y'all metalheads. Bees, bags of dice. I'm holding a bag of dice. I'm shaking it. Maybe you can hear that sound. Erasers, maps of Skyrim. It's a great game. I'm Pavlos.
And I'm George.
And we're just a couple of metalheads who like to talk about metal because it's pretty lit and awesome. I'm holding this touchscreen pen thing. Whee!
Oh yeah, the stylists. They're pretty neat.
You know what's a great style of music?
What is Pavlos?
Swedish death reggae. Sweden. Or ska death ska. Sweden.
I swear to God, I don't think I even need to be here for this to be a show. I mean, like, you could just do everything. Like,
no, George, you have to be there to. No, John.
My name is not John. It is George.
I don't know many people named John. That's terrible.
Same. It's okay.
All right, John. I mean, George. All right, George. Yeah, Swedish death ska.
I'm sure that's a thing somewhere.
I mean, there's folk metal, but
that's probably the closest you're gonna get.
It's basically what it is. Swedish folk death. Oh, speaking of Swedish folk metal, listen to Helveti. They're lit and awesome. They're like death metal, vocals and guitars meets Gaelic or Celtic folk music. It's pretty lit. There's a hurdy-gurdy, which is what everyone wants, right, George?
Hell yeah, absolutely. Hurdy-gurdies are underrated as
so cool. I'm motioning. You can't see me pretending to do it. It's like a piano mixed with a thing, and it's lit.
Yes, I think lit is probably the one adjective we say the most in this show, during our shows.
What about stupendous? Flabbergasted. Yeah, listen. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, Helveti, very, very good band.
Yeah, Helveti. Krigel from Helveti, give a shout out to us and listen to our stuff, as well as Nurgle and Ozzy Osbourne and Fat Mike. I want them all to listen to the podcast. I don't know how much Fat Mike would enjoy this. But Krigel from
limited, I'd say.
Yeah.
But speaking of Ozzy Osbourne, as of late, we have a couple of shout outs to make. And when we mean a couple, we mean like 5. And so in terms of album anniversaries, this is a pretty big one. It is the 40th anniversary of Ozzy Osbourne's Blizzard of Oz and the 50th anniversary of Black Sabbath's Self-Titled and Paranoid. It's pretty amazing to think about. Those legendary albums are that old.
Especially the Sabbath ones.
Oh God, yes.
And those are like the two most important, hands down, two most important albums in metal history.
Yeah, because they started it all.
Yeah, followed by, I think most people would put Master of Puppets after that, or something.
In terms of like important metal albums.
That's what I've seen people.
I'd also chalk up like Judas Priest's Sin After Sin, or Motorhead's Ace of Spades, because those two albums set up the stage for thrash metal, because both of those were like proto thrash.
I would also put maybe not in the top, maybe not top 10, but to definitely top 20. Death's Scream Bloody Gore.
Yes, large. I think I'd also chalk up Possessed's Seven Churches. Both Scream Bloody Gore and Seven Churches are like the two first death metal albums of all time. They're the two that started it all.
Speaking of the greatest death metal albums of all time, Ozzy Osbourne's Blizzard of Oz, which is not a death metal album. I tricked you guys. Taking that.
This has nothing to do with anything that we were just saying, but continue on anyways. Probably.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many great tracks on that. On Blizzard of Oz. I Don't Know is on there. Crazy Trains, most notably, where he goes, yes, I bid it to the...
Alright, do you want me to read you?
Let me eat my bats, excuse me, Sharon. I'm going to eat my bats. Remember when you go to the store, Sharon, remember to go to the bat section so I can eat my bats. Phil from Ozzy, are you coming in here too?
No, Ozzy, you don't get to eat bats. I'm totally Sharon, by the way. Like, I'm totally Sharon Osbourne. Definitely not some 18-year-old teenager sitting in the middle of a hall.
Sharon, your voice changed a lot. You're not British anymore.
No, I'm not.
I'm going off the rails on a crazy train.
Okay. Do you want me to read you the track listing, or like some of the most notable cuts from Blizzard of Oz?
Yes, please.
So the album opens with "I Don't Know." That's a pretty good song. I don't know if you've ever listened to it.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Nice. And then it's followed up by "Crazy Train." Seminal, like as good as it gets. Then the power ballad "Goodbye to Romance." It's okay. It's fine. And then there's like there's Suicide Solution and Mr. Crowley.
Mr. Crowley.
Album.
Mr. Crowley might have that might have been Randy Rhoads' best guitar solo.
It's a pretty good one.
I wanna know what you meant. Yeah.
Yep.
So the Randy Rhoads, you were the best guitarist ever.
To everybody listening, you couldn't see it, but we both did a salute.
But you'll never know if we're lying or not.
Yeah. But legit, we were. I assure you.
Lying, they don't know.
That's true. But hey.
No, we know we
did. At least we tried, right? So another anniversary that's also fairly big is 15th anniversary of Disturbed's 10,000 Fists, an album dedicated to Mr. Dimebag Darrell. Good job.
I just heard Mr. Dimebag Darrell, and I'm like, I don't think he was in Disturbed, but okay.
He was. The album was dedicated to him because while they were recording it, he got shot and killed at I can't remember the guy's name, but he got shot and killed before he was about to do a Damage Plan concert, which was his new band that he was doing with Vinnie Paul and some other people.
Legends. I salute him too.
Good metal horns. Hell yeah. Pablo's just stuck his tongue out at me. I'm offended. I'm kidding. But yeah, is there anything that you would like to say about 10,000 Fists, Pablo?
Title track is awesome. Some of the best ones they've ever read. The great cover of Genesis's "Land of Confusion" is on that record.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
Land of Confusion. And there's not much
This is
go
the
around.
world we live in. Whoa.
And these are
The hands were given away.
the.
And I just want to say that record could quite possibly be the best creative point for Disturbed, period. Because
It's got
I don't
Stricken
know.
too.
It does have
That's a
Stricken.
banger.
Absolutely. It's also got Decadence, which is another killer track. It's got
He goes, ow! And not,
Yeah.
wah.
Exactly. Oh,
Get up, come on, get down with the sickness, my.
that's not the right album. But right there.
Oh, well,
You came on me like
I am Stricken.
Okay.
You just wait,
You're Stricken.
and I can't let you go.
Wow,
I'm like
that was
that.
very enthusiastic. It's also got the almost Tool-esque track Overburdened.
I'm
At least in the bass
by the
department.
fact that it's the 50th anniversary. Whoa!
Oh man! But even looking at the B-sides that came off of this album period, according to Wikipedia, there was like Monster, Two Worlds, Hell, Thickened, and This Moment. Well, actually, technically, This Moment was on the Transformers soundtrack, but it was probably recorded around the same time, so I consider it a B-side in that period. But that grouping of B-sides was the best grouping of B-sides I've ever listened to, hands down. Seriously, I was blown away. So amazing.
Disturbed. Really cool, man.
Yes, indeed. Now, ever since then, they've been a little hit or miss. I mean, like, Indestructible is pretty good. I did not really enjoy Asylum. Immortalized was nice. Not a lot of people enjoyed Evolution.
The Are You Ready was cool. That was about it.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
listened to the record. It was okay.
I can agree with that. I mean, with the title "Are You Ready," it's pretty hype.
Are you ready? Are you ready, kids?
Every time I think of "Are You Ready," I think of the AC/DC song.
Are you ready?
Good time.
I didn't know that was them until actually I knew it was them. I just didn't know what the song was called, but yeah.
Yeah, that was off of The Razor's Edge, which has Thunderstruck. Yeah. Speaking of 15th anniversaries, another album that is celebrating its 15th anniversary is From Mars to Sirius by Gojira.
Chaos, space, fall Earth again. To fire whales. Sick color. I will just brag under. Winds they dwell in light. Nowhere! Yo,
Did you like that rendition of Flying Whales, everybody? Like
Joe Duplanter is gonna be so happy when he hears this. Oh, that's our other fan, Joe Duplanter. Mario doesn't like us that much. She has a problem with me.
Oh, well, that's sad. He's a good drummer.
Yeah, I still respect
His drumming on literally all of the records has been immaculate.
He's a god. He's a god drummer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Blessed with the power of the gods.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to say about this record, Bob?
Oh, Backbone. Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the best song
Good riff.
on the record.
I think
song in general.
Yeah, I think this album in particular, lots of good riffs being thrown around here. I think this is when they started getting good.
Is amazing. Opens up the opener.
Oh yeah, Ocean Planet. Ocean Planet's weird to me. I'm not too into the fact that the hook of the album is a fill, and it's kind of it feels very clunky to me in that regard. But it's still a good song.
That's kind of that's kind of Gojira though. They're kind of clunky, but it works.
Yes, that's true. But I mean, that song in particular, I mean, with Backbone, at least that has like a beat and it trudges forward.
Yeah.
Same thing with Flying Whales, Where Dragons Dwell, Heaviest Matter.
Heaviest Matter. It's such a heavy song because it's got the heaviest matter of the universe, which is lead.
I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, when you have a song like that, that just demands.
It opens up like
heavy as hell.
What happened?
Yeah, good stuff. And that middle breakdown section where he's talking about seeing the black on the horizon.
Black on the horizon.
Can't death growl very well.
So
yeah, it's good stuff. But he does the singing.
I freaking love that. That's such a glorious track. The whole album.
The whole album's great.
I mean, as a whole, they take.
I mean, even it might be their best album. Like if we look at it as a whole,
it's one of my favorite. Yeah. What they do is they basically take what we like. Oh, this is metal. All right, let's see. How do they do metal? We're gonna go back to the burger. I told you this before. I said this on our last recording of the episode when we did our.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna use it again. It's like they're sizzling in that burger, and it's like, it's like we're missing a bit of stuff. This is running out. Let's see what we can find on the other side.
I think the way that I think about that analogy is kind of like this. One side is already cooked. You know, we got your heavy drums, growled vocals, heavy guitar riffs, lots of power chords, and in general, like a darker subject matter in terms of lyricism. And then
Gojira doesn't really have as much.
But see, and that's the thing. Take that same burger, and they completely flipped it over and start cooking the other side, which is more like quirky dynamics, prog metal-esque like time signatures, almost like philosophical and environmentally conscious lyrics.
Yeah, that's because they're heavy on that stuff.
Yeah, and it's very it's very much like the way that I could sum up what Gojira is it's Tool in progressive death metal form.
Yeah, and Flying Whales is a perfect example of that.
Yes, absolutely. It opens with like this cool ambient instrumental, and then just after 2 minutes it falls away into this heavy banging riff.
Falling away from me, falling away from me.
Beating
me down, beating me down, down into the ground.
That's the wrong.
I heard that song live because Korn ended it.
Yes.
Speaking of live concerts, we are excited to go see the Deftones show next year. Let's hope it happens.
With Gojira,
Gojira's opening.
As well as Poppy.
Poppy.
She's a YouTuber, and she's got a cool pop meets metal album.
Pretty weird.
Out called I Disagree, and she'll be touring for that alongside Gojira, who will, I guess, be playing stuff from
What do you mean you disagree with what I said? It's a really weird mix of like what she does with It's like, excuse me, what did you just do? And then you have to listen to it and you're like, okay. I'm not sure if I love this or if I don't enjoy it. It's really weird. It's cool. It's unique, and I don't hate it. It's very I wouldn't
Mhm.
say I will overly love what she does, but
You could like it from a
and it's
creative
cool.
standpoint.
Some people will. I can see some people liking that quirky and weirdness that she's
Yeah,
doing.
for sure. Yeah, and I think in particular the fact that she came from such a, a huge following and channel, the fact that she's also into making metal music, that could maybe open up a whole new way for people to get into metal. You know, that at least a more darker, aggressive side of
The
music.
other side of the
Uh,
burger. The burger
But
flipping.
this time, the other side of the burger is referring to music genres.
Yeah.
But
All right.
yeah, that hopefully that concert will be, hopefully it will happen
It's
in
gonna
the
be
first
great.
place, and then when it happens, hopefully,
It will eventually happen.
yeah, it'll happen eventually. We have one more album to talk about, and this one's pretty big.
Yes.
20th anniversary of Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park, and also the record has officially gone 13 times platinum.
13. It's a lot.
That's a lot of records sold.
That's a lot of records sold, my dude.
Yep. This album might be one of the biggest albums in metal history, in modern metal history,
Yeah, I mean, only a couple days ago,
and rock, I guess. Yeah.
only a few days ago was the 20th anniversary, and they released a huge
Mhm.
special version, which has different lyrics, different demos, new songs from the Hybrid Theory that we have never heard before.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Indeed.
And
This record-
Mike Shinoda said that he was saving a lot of songs that he's gonna slowly release new Linkin Park music that still had Chester on it over the next 20 years. Let's
Ooh,
churn them out so that we have stuff that we have never heard before.
that's cool. That's pretty neat.
And the
Um,
album we've talked about it before, and so there's not a lot we can.
Yeah, that's true. Our first episode we discussed, in the end, hitting the official music video hitting 1 billion
Yeah,
views on
and
YouTube, and we
we
launched into a discussion on the album.
a full discussion on the album. And if you guys want to
Yeah,
check it out, then check it out. It's pretty cool.
yeah, go listen to that. Pretty awesome.
It's a lit time.
And our last thing that we wanted, a quick shout out that we wanted to give, is not a happy one. As of recently, legendary guitarist, some might say one of the greatest in the world, and all time, Eddie Van Halen, has sadly passed away from cancer.
The Eruption God.
Yep, his solo on Eruption. I think has probably inspired a whole generation of guitarists, and
And has
inspired
brought
them
many
even more.
nightmares to Guitar Hero lovers.
Oh God, yes, that and Dragonforce.
To the Fire and the Flames by Dragonforce.
To the Fire and the Flames.
Remember the table version?
God,
Table,
No.
table.
we dare not speak of the memed version of that song.
On YouTube, we'll give a link to that version.
Where?
Yeah.
Where do we give
The
the link?
YouTube version.
Oh,
Description below. Sorry, all you non-YouTube people. You can just go look it up on YouTube. And yeah.
Go subscribe to us.
And oh yeah, I just remembered. We have an email account.
Ah, yeah.
Just a couple metalheads at gmail.com. And what we want you to do is to give us you can give us feedback on how we're doing and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And our plan is to have a thing where we're gonna do song suggestions and we review said songs.
Yeah, hopefully this is a good way to connect with our fan base, and hopefully it'll be a fun relationship between you guys, the listeners, and us.
And so send your song reviews to just a couple metalheads at gmail.com. Any genre. We'll even listen to your Nickelback.
Yeah, we'll listen to anything.
I'll spit in the face of the song most likely, but it's okay. You'll get to hear us rant
Right.
about that. So,
Okay.
talking about Eddie Van Halen before,
Yes.
Guitar God, jump!
My yeah.
Beep, beep, beep. Go ahead and jump. Yeah. I'll get up, but nothing ever gets me down.
Everyone liking this.
Him,
This is
you can't see.
quality content.
Yeah, this is quality content. Me saluting him.
But yes,
But no one can
salute.
see him.
Salute you.
One cool
Eddie.
story about him.
Mhm.
Or not him, the band. They were opening at one point for Black Sabbath, and they ended up getting. And by the end of the tour, Van Halen was just as big, if not bigger, than Black Sabbath, and they were still the opener.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, like at that point, they only had like one album, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it was their self-titled, which is got some pretty good cuts.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, so this is kind of a question that I wanted to pose to you, Pavlos, real quickly. Do you think what happened to Van Halen? Do you think that can still happen in today's musical landscape?
What do you mean by what happened to Van Halen? Like, oh, like the
Well, like this event that you speak of, that they were so young.
it
And they were
could,
only an opening band, and then they got bigger.
but it's really rare. Like that's like there are not many bands that have that, and that usually happens in the underground scene.
Mm-hmm.
Will get bigger from an under because the fans of the underground, but they won't get mainstream big
Right.
as much.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the Interrupters opening for Green Day. I saw them before they opened for Green Day, and they're maybe 2 or 3 times as big as they were at that point. And if they've played on NoFX's Punk and Drublic. If the time I had saw them, they would have been a first band performer. Now they're in the middle. And I think that had to do with the Revolution Radio when they were opening for Green Day in the U.S. for about half the U.S. tour.
Interesting. Huh.
But yeah, those things can happen.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Now, I also wanted to ask, do you know exactly when Van Halen was opening for Black Sabbath?
I'm going to assume it was the end of the Ozzy era. Ish.
So like late 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense because their first record is their self-titled Van Halen, which was released in 1978.
78. Wee.
78. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
We salute him.
Yeah, rest in peace, Eddie Van Halen.
Everyone, jump for Eddie Van Halen. Because we get up and nothing ever gets us down.
Okay, fine, let's keep going.
All right.
So,
George, would you like to
meat.
explain what's going to happen next on this very lovely episode that we are recording?
Yes. So, recently, as of
about a month ago?
Almost a month ago.
A month and a half, maybe 2.
I think it's a month. I think it's been a month. Because this album was released in late September, and it's an album by a little band that we actually name dropped earlier in the recording of this episode, and it's Deftones and their new album Ohms.
I can't hear you because of the deaf. Oh my god, never mind.
No,
I couldn't even complete that
bad
one.
joke. Bad joke.
Bad. Stop it. Kanye. You were not.
Kanye,
No.
you were not the greatest rock star of all time. For
Stop
anybody
it.
that wants a good laugh, look up Corey Taylor talking about Kanye West.
I'll put it in the description as
Love
well
it.
on YouTube.
Stop it. Stop it.
All right, what were we talking about?
Anyway,
Oh, the
now,
album.
Deftones,
It's-
Ohms.
yeah, it's called Ohms, OHMS. It's pretty awesome. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
We're talking about the album.
Yeah.
So it's got 10 excellent thoughts. George, going into the record, how did you think? Like when you were going straight into the record, like before you're about to click the first song, you're like, going through the George brain,
the George brain
inside the minds of George.
Inside in the minds of evil.
Instead of in the minds of evil, instead of D sides,
in the minds of me.
Of George. He thinks about Deftones Ohms.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think before I listened to this album in its entirety, I mean there were already 2 singles out, Genesis and the title track.
Yeah.
And both of those were great. Excellent songs.
Beautiful songs.
Brilliant. In different ways.
Complete opposite ways, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. They're very opposites of each other. And it's interesting that it's the first and last song of the album.
Yeah.
Those 2 songs.
I wonder if they did that. I wonder if they did that on purpose too.
Probably. I'd imagine so. But yeah, so I was excited. Luckily enough, I ordered I pre-ordered a bundle, one of the album bundles on the Deftones website. So I when the album dropped, I got a digital download of the entire album. So luckily,
same.
I got to listen to it.
It's like we both pre-ordered the same album. Huh.
What? God, that's
I got
so
my
weird.
I got a vinyl. I pre-ordered a lit vinyl. It was awesome. And I got myself a sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Awesome. And they're pretty.
I pre-ordered a CD with some shorts.
Deftones shorts. Gotta get band. You gotta get those band gym shorts collection going.
I mean, that's exactly why I did it. I mean, there's hardly.
You're gonna get your deicide shorts next.
The only time that I've seen metal merchandise on pants was when I was over in Barcelona, when they had a string of metal shops, and you could buy like full art, like Injustice for All shorts. Like it's seriously.
Were you tempted?
It's pretty awesome. Kind of sad that I didn't get it. Looking back on it now, but it was pretty awesome.
Just order on the internet, but
yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, what were we?
But yeah, back to this.
Ohms.
Yes, very good. How about? So yeah, I was excited. Now, I feel that you felt largely the same way.
Yeah,
going into this
because this was
album.
I've talked about this before on the podcast. I became a fan, way back in 8th grade. Like I think it was the same year Gore came out. My uncle sent all their music to me
for 2016, I think.
Yeah, except for I didn't have Koi no Yokon because that was the only album I don't think he has.
Okay.
I don't know why, but yeah, he gave me that. And going into this record, because I had already become a huge fan. They're the 4th greatest metal band of all time, in my opinion. So
you can go listen to that episode where we talk about our favorite metal bands.
Yeah,
pretty
funny
cool.
thing that has changed. That list has changed a bit since, but we could do a top 10 list in like a year maybe, and then or in a few years, and then we'll go over if it is.
Yeah, if there's any updates.
That's a future prophecy I have just conceived for you guys.
You preordained the future.
Yeah, unless we all get homeless and we can't record this, but yeah.
Probably. Yeah, makes sense.
I'm already homeless. I'm inside a garbage can. I'm just kidding. But yeah, going into this, I was excited and ready. Oh my lord, I heard a knock on my door and I heard the dog go. Argh! No, she wants a piece of the Deftones vinyl. It's okay, buddy. I'm looking at him. I'm looking at my Deftones vinyl. Like, there-ish, and the rest of my finals. Yeah, going into this, I was pretty stoked. Thing is, we had heard the title track Ohms, and we had already listened to Genesis, and I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, this is going to be really interesting, and I hope it's going to be good, because there was a bit of signs that there was a small sign that it could have been like Gore, where Gore would have had like great songs, and then the rest was mixed. Like,
yeah. Well, because I think the singles that they released for Gore were fantastic. I think Prayers and Triangles was an excellent album opener.
it's a great song.
Phantom Bride is sad and beautiful.
You
At
could
the
still
same
headbang
time.
to it at the chorus. You know?
Exactly.
You say you lie.
Flatten this void.
But
Anyway.
yeah, but I already had some good hope, because from especially Genesis, what Genesis showed was, it kind of felt like, hold on, I hope you guys didn't hear that dog bark, but it felt like I had a hope that it would take the not heavy part of what they did with Gore, and take what they did with Gore, what they tried to do, because you could tell they tried to come up with something, but it didn't exactly hit that mark. Hit sort of near it a little bit, kind of, but not too close. But they still had the idea going. You could tell they were trying to do something, but didn't really work out.
Yeah.
That was my hope with Ohms, because that's what Genesis sounded like to me. It sounded like it sounded like a Gore-esque type thing, or a kind of like that. But they finally hit that mark.
Particular. Yeah, the opening for Genesis is beautiful.
Now
I don't think I can think of a better opening for a song.
Yeah, it's about as good as it can get. Now, we're in the track Genesis. The first thing we hear on the album is this weird 80s sci-fi synth that Frank Delgado has given us.
Yes, the keyboardist.
Yeah. He's also a turntablist as well, but kind of...
That is true, yeah.
You hear that, and it's like, okay, this is interesting. Like, you don't know what to expect out of it. And then...
And accompanied with that is some soft riffing, which is like some plucks. And it's just this... It feels like you're floating in space. That's kind of that. I think that's kind of
the album. It's like it's kind of like the Genesis, like in the Bible. You got the Book of Genesis, which talks about creation. It's the beginning of the Book of Genesis. Basically said, God explains how God created the world in 3 days. The intro track, kind of I just came up with this just now. Realized the intro track to Genesis is like the creation, and then you hear the two drum sets going tick tick.
The click.
And then that.
And the good old Chino Marino going.
And then I reject both sides. And it's huge. And I'm just like, big grin on my face. And I'd already heard this. We'd already heard the song at the point. But freaking Stephen Carpenter going bam, and then the Chi Chang on bass is killing it, and
Sergio
hitting that drum hard is doing that is.
Yes, I think this song in particular had a very heavy emphasis on groove, and I think you can really hear it in Abe Cunningham, Stephen Carpenter, and Sergio just locking in, and just grooving with each other. And it's awesome, and I really like in particular, retrospectively, looking at the lyrics and the title, it almost feels declarative of Deftones, of what Deftones intended with this record.
With the lyrics,
that they quote unquote, to quote Chino, I finally achieved balance. And he also references Rebirth. And the fact that it's titled Genesis is interesting, because this album was just full. It was just of something brand new. It just felt like the band
It felt like
shed their skin once again.
Yeah, it felt like they took a little bit of the little bit of dirt that they'd already covered their hands in. It's like they washed their hands,
Yeah,
and then they took that, and some of that dirt was still there, but then they added new soil and covered their hands with it.
that's a good way of putting it.
A little bit of what they've already learned and
Yeah.
smashed it into something else. And by the way, this album, one of the best sounding records I've ever listened to.
Yeah.
And that is, of course, thanks
Very
to
good.
the great and legendary Terry Date, who did the first 4 Deftones records.
Yes.
Adrenaline, Around the Fur, White Pony, and Self-Titled.
Self-titled.
And he's also done
He's done work for
Pantera.
He's
Dark
done work for
he's done
Slipknot
Dark. He
once.
did the last Dark Angel record, Slayer's last record.
He mixed a couple of
Pumpkins.
Slipknot singles,
Yeah,
which is pretty cool. Yeah, the guy has a very good,
extensive and really good list of
discography that he's worked on. Very
And
good credentials
he
for
is
sure.
probably the best Deftones mixer, because White Pony still holds very well to this day.
Yeah. Yeah, even I mean, like, nothing to I mean, like, I know the production job on Diamond Eyes and Koi no Yokon and even
Was
Seven
not
Man
him.
Wrist are, they're not him, but even those aren't really, they're nothing to scoff at. They're pretty good, but Terry Date knows this band. It almost feels like he just knows them inside and out sonically.
It's like he's a member of the band, because mixing
Yeah.
feels like it feels like you're the member of the band. Anytime like the producer and the mixer are both like band members, and they both get as much recognition. And in this
Yes.
case, they get a lot, because there are a lot of albums where the mixing ruins the record, and
Yes.
producing. Like, for example, the last Clash album, Cut the Crap, one of the worst mixed sounding records.
Mhm.
And a lot of fans look back and say it's a pretty good album, but it was just ruined with a lot of this weird mixing. They tried to make the Clash from a pop, an early, like an 80s pop punk band.
Yeah.
Basically what they were. They're a bunch of punks in a pop band, and they used that punk sound with their, like, the pop style back then in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And then he took it and made weird sounding synths in the album, and it didn't sound right at all. And to leave with an album like that is not good. But we're not
Oh, yeah.
Clash.
Well, I think one more example that I would like to show is the debut album for death metal / grindcore band Carcass. Their debut album, Reek of Putrefaction. The whole thing was the whole album it's a series of a bunch of short songs, and they're very guttural and messy, and it just feels like a slaughter fest condensed into audio form. I mean, that's really what it sounds like. Yeah, basically. And what's fascinating about that record is that the record is infamous amongst the band members of that the mixer totally botched it. You listen to that album, it is horrible sounding. It
Doesn't even sound like music.
It borderline doesn't feel like it. I mean,
Because if you take that
it deserved.
if you take that really, if you take anything aggressive, like, let's say Demigod had a terrible mix that could ruin the record and make it one of the that's time. There's so much stuff happening that without the right mixing and right sound, it can just sound like noise.
Yeah, and that's why, like, when you listen to bands like Rammstein and Deftones, where they aren't doing blast beats or doing thrash beats necessarily, it's easier to it's easier to get away with a slightly less clean, less perfected mix and production because the notes are so spaced out, right? But when you're a grindcore technical blackened death metal band like Carcass or Behemoth, you're not going to, you can't have that luxury necessarily because everything's so condensed. Everything is happening, like all the drum beats, like it's just blast beats, and all these drum strokes are just all crammed together, and this intricate riffing and stuff. You just don't have that luxury to have like a little bit of a lesser production value than what is needed. And it's funny because I think if you look in the liner notes of Recapitulation, they even quote unquote put the mixer of this album like in their quote unquote thanks list. So like, thanks to the thanks very much to the mixer who ruined this album.
Hey, mixer, you suck. No one loves you. Go away.
Yeah, basically. That's basically what it was.
Let's hire him to do our first record, George.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Great idea.
Good times. But yeah, so back to Ohms.
Ohms.
So after we leave the perfect album opener, Genesis, which by the way, I would totally love if like say we see them live, and now I think in our lost audio footage, we said this was unlikely.
We said this, and I'm going to say the exact same answer to you.
Yes, and I will say the exact same thing right now.
And I will say the exact same thing after that, and that, and that, and this will continue on for centuries.
Oh, that's interesting. Wow, interesting. All right. It would be really cool if they opened this because it's like, it's pitch black. Motive Center's going nuts, and then all of a sudden you hear the keyboard start and the gentle riffing by Stefan come in. People would lose their
I'm closing
minds.
my eyes and I'm imagining this.
Oh,
I think they could do that. I think even if this was a second, like I feel like they would open with something like, this is what I feel.
Yeah.
Like they would go like, while you're sitting there still getting ready. U2 did this when I saw them. When you went to a similar show. Josh, when they played Sunday Bloody Sunday, out of nowhere, without anyone waiting, you hear the and you could still hear the music coming. Another song they were playing for the people to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And while he did the drums, and they did it on purpose to throw everyone off guard. And it's like, oh, U2's here.
Yeah.
You hear the drumming of Sunday Bloody Sunday, and it's like, oh, well, we're starting, I guess. I think Deftones will do something, because a lot of the times they open with something like My Own Summer, where he goes, like out of nowhere, show it. Yeah, like that. And then, after the song is over, you hear like, and then like this, and then and I will say, as usual, Chino Moreno does a perfect job. That is something he is one of the most consistent lead vocalists ever.
Yeah, I can't argue with that, man.
And this may have been his best. This album was maybe one of his best performances. But then again, I can for almost every album too. But
yeah, I definitely agree.
There's no better vocalist for this band than him.
I mean, yeah, and plus, like, he's what kind of makes this band stand out from the rest. Like his quirky, non-metal like lyrics.
Digital Bath is a great example of that.
Yeah,
Passenger.
Yes, exactly. It's like taking almost like ideas that you would write a poem for, but turning that into an alt metal song.
Yeah, that's what makes this band so unique.
Yes,
but yeah,
for sure.
Oh yeah, and when he does the clean vocals in Genesis, over the ashes, and then you hear, but then the guitar, Stephen Carpenter's guitar.
Yeah.
Transitions are clean. Clean!
Yes.
Clean!
Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean. That sounds like a product. Oh, that's our next
It is.
everybody. Mr. Clean. Get your new clean everything. Clean your bag of dice that I mentioned in the beginning of this podcast.
We're not
Your
sponsored by
toilet
Mr.
paper,
Clean.
your tissue, your eraser, your rocks.
We're not
Your hose,
sponsored by
your dirt.
Mr. Clean.
We are definitely sponsored by Mr. Clean, which is a fictional product that I just made up. Sue me.
Well,
you're real.
Mr. Clean is a real product. That's the thing.
Oh, never mind. Mr. Clean, won't you like to be very clean?
Or at least he's the mascot of
Mr. Clean. Yeah, that's out for our sponsor. Yeah.
So after we open this album
With
this gorgeous Genesis, it flows right into the next song, Ceremony.
and it does this with the rest of the record. Yeah, Ceremony.
And yes,
Ooh, the intro was one of my favorite intros. And then he's like, this is the end. It's so, and you get that haunting, memorable, low, like moaning voice of, which everyone just smiles for. I'm like, oh, it's him! Oh, yes!
Yeah.
And
awesome.
I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. And it does get, I will say, as the song progresses, it gets a bit, like the chorus is okay. It gets kind of, the chorus is fine. I mean, the one, if I remember, he goes, it's an illusion. Not my favorite chorus, but I think what it makes up for is that intro. That intro is one of the best parts of the record. And
I mean, if there's anything that we've learned is that drum intros are pretty awesome, or drum and guitar intros are great ways to start songs, or at least legendary songs.
Oh yeah, by the way, we're done with Ceremony. That was just kind of, we had the same opinion on it.
Yeah, it's like it's good. It's a great way to keep the album flowing along.
And Terry Date still does his job.
The momentum going.
About the rest.
But we get to this song.
Urantia.
With all these erased recordings, I'm rearranging parts.
Oh man!
It starts off with Stephen Carpenter.
Possibly the most aggressive
and
riffing I've heard on a Deftones song. That or
they've never done anything like that. You just immediately hear Stephen Carpenter and Abe Cunningham just pound. Yeah, and Abe Cunningham's hitting that thing, that snare as hard as he can. It's like he's beating the person that beat up his friend or someone.
Yeah,
he's like, die, vermin, die, trash. No one loved you. That's what he's treating that drumstick like. And then just Stephen. Oh, by the way, Stephen Carpenter is using a 9-string guitar, which we've never seen on a Deftones record, and he's crunching that on that. And while this song has no screaming, it starts off super hard and then it goes to a mellower thing.
Yes. And I really like that. I really like the dynamics of that, how they just explode in the opening seconds, and then it just settles. Yeah,
with this almost thrashy, almost thrash metal riff.
Yes, exactly. It feels very thrash metal when you listen to that riffing, and I think that's what took me aback, because again, like with Deftones, you just don't expect that. And I mean, with them, you just gotta expect the unexpected. They are
that's
the
just
definition
Deftones
of that band. Yeah.
And what's interesting is like when he gets the and then he starts singing. He's got like the I slipped into the. I love the vocal line and the way the dynamic of the vocals in the song.
Exactly.
There's a rearranging parts.
Yeah, that part I love.
Voices. losing it. It's so,
Yeah.
and it's in the background that Frank Delgado does.
Ugh.
You can. What's interesting about this song is after it only caught my attention after like my fifth or sixth listen,
Yes, it did take a while for me as well. I think
and I listened to it a
fourth
lot.
or fifth listen for sure.
Yeah, but and then I listened to that song by itself quite a bit, a lot. It's a song I come to, and it quickly. I think it's the best track on the record.
I can agree. I think it's definitely one of the most standout tracks on the album, just simply because of that explosive riffing. But even then,
some of the best sounding, my favorite stuff that Chino has done with his voice.
Yeah, exactly.
It's beautiful. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, like between the way that he sings on Change in the House of Flies, or even the way that he sings during the chorus of Prayers and Triangles. Those are some of my favorite vocal parts, but holy crap, what a job he does on Urantia. Is that how you say that?
All right, listeners, time to look up how to pronounce Urantia. How do we pronounce this word? How to pronounce
that is the worst part about so many of the albums, or so many of the song titles of Deftones. They're so weird,
especially on this one. This album had some of the weirdest song titles.
I don't know. Gore had some pretty wacky ones.
How to say Urantia in English? What?
Or pronunciation?
Okay, George, it's okay, guys. I'm gonna share my screen and show George what I'm looking at, and I'm gonna describe to you. Look at this. Rating 1 out of 5 stars. What? How to pronounce Urantia? I've shared my thing. We're using Zoom, by the way. That's our next sponsor, Zoom. I'm just kidding. It's not.
No.
Oh, Urantia. Let's listen.
Urantia.
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 Okay, Urantia. I'm just gonna Urantia. I don't know what it says.
Sounds good.
Yeah, Urantia. Best track on the record.
Mm-hmm.
It is simply gorgeous. Yeah.
And now, after Urantia, we go into the fourth song, Error. Which
is a complete error after the second half of the song. Ugh. Hated it. I hated the second half.
Can I just say something real quick?
No! I won't allow it! Fine, say something. I give you permission.
Oh, well, thank you.
Speak!
For consent.
Get it out already! Spit it out! Spit! Oh,
No.
drag me down. I snap you out. Hop on one leg.
That's a little Spit It Out by Slipknot for all you fellow listeners out there. But what I wanted to say was, true to its name, the opening guitar sounds sound like an error message in audio form. I mean, like it's this weird distorted whining of a guitar, and it sounds like something out of the album Street Cleaner by Godflesh. Godflesh is this industrial metal band, and they have an album Street Cleaner, which is very legendary.
Very generic logo too for that band. They have a very generic logo, which is interesting.
Yeah, they are a super interesting group that has proved incredibly influential to a lot of bands, especially in the industrial metal department. But Street Cleaner had a lot of like trippy, weirded out guitar intros, and the opening guitar sounds for Error kind of reminded me of that, which I kind of like.
Yeah, now, and I will. Okay, so I will say that the song starts off well. The verses are okay. They're fine.
They do the job.
The guitar intro is cool. It's different, and it's like, ooh,
Yes.
okay, I don't
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Deftones, and then of course you got Frank Delgado doing his thing, and
Yeah.
if I remember, this song has a nice bass line. I remember.
Yes. Well, I mean, the whole first half is this jumpy,
Yeah.
almost like a throwback to their new metal days.
Yeah,
where it's
and-
this jumpy rhythm that you can just easily just kind of jump headbang.
Go
to,
ahead and
which is
jump!
awesome.
Jump! I'm just kidding.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, Chi Chang does once again a good job on bass. Everyone
Yeah.
good job.
Yeah, Sergio
I did
does
love
a
the chorus. The
does
chorus,
a good job on that.
yeah, the chorus was really catchy. Beyond the gate, beyond the sun. Yeah, I loved that.
Mhm.
And then, let me explain to you the second half of the song. I talked about this when we recorded our last
Here we go.
rehearsal session. So it's like they decided to take a little bit of a break. So they're like, okay, let's come up with something cool we could do with the second half of the song. They should have ended it. And I would have loved it. It would have been on my playlist, the Deftones playlist. But then
Yes.
it's like Chino and the rest of the band had to go to the bathroom, take a number 2. But what came out of them, it's like, there's a lot of songs that came out where people have good ideas while they're going to the bathroom. No, this did not happen. Let me tell you, this did not happen at all. They were sitting there going, oh, good idea. Poof! Out comes everything. And they come out with the worst possible thing they could have ever come up with. They come out and this really, I feel like a kid saying this really poopy idea, and they all have the same terrible poopy idea, and it all combines into one big poopy thing, and they make this really crappy song in the second half, and it ruins the song. It's drenched in this terrible, disgusting idea of monstrosity. There.
You done? Is your tirade over now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're coming from. Okay, look. Here's the thing. The second half reminded me a lot about how they did musically, of how they would do things on self-titled. That it's not necessarily super easy to listen to. It's incredibly quirky. It's a little off kilter, and the fact that it's right after such an easy to listen, easy to groove to first half, I think is what makes it pretty abrupt. Now, I do want to say, interesting that they tried to divide the song almost perfectly into 2 stylistic halves. Gotta appreciate them for trying something a little outside the box here. All in all, it comes out to be not bad.
It comes out as a disgusting flesh.
I didn't like the second half as much as you did, so I find it a little bit more tolerable.
Yeah, I see self-titled. I can see where it's sort of coming from, but this was big error. Big error.
Hence the name.
This was no Battle Axe, which is probably the best deep cut in almost any other in album history, possibly, in my opinion. Battle Axe is one of, if not the best, one of the top 5 best Deftones songs ever made.
Fair enough. Now, we move on to side. If we're looking at this from a vinyl perspective, we're moving on to the side A closer and the 5th song on the album, The Spell of Mathematics.
Oh, yeah, all the math nerds are gonna be like, it's about math.
Yeah. What's the Pythagorean theorem, Pavlos?
Ooh, gotta love the Pythagorean theorem. Oh.
A plus B equals C.
B squared, x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Ugh.
Quadratic formula, baby. Yeah.
God. It was
You want to turn this into a math podcast?
All right, so the Deftones cut off. They didn't put much poop in this one. In fact, it was
this one
was pretty cool.
The word that perfectly describes this to me is cool. It's just so different, and it's super cool, and it's very chilled out.
Yeah, it's
almost
like It's got a weird. It starts off immediately with the screaming of, yeah, you can understand me.
But the verses are super chilled out, and even the chorus that they sing is super hypnotic.
This place that seals me to life. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah,
I love that. And then
super cool.
From Stephen Carpenter.
Yes.
And then I think the atmosphere that Frank Delgado brings to this is cool. And
yes, for sure.
Drumming, Cunningham.
Abe Cunningham gets a special mention in this one, I think, for both of us. In particular because towards the end of the song, we get introduced to a new musical element that we have never really heard. I don't think we've ever heard this on any previous episode song. It's as actually Abe Cunningham, as he put it in an interview with Apple Music, barbershop quartet finger snapping, along with super subdued and subtle drumming and a light humming of the melody. And this is all in the middle of the song. And then after it stays in that zone for a time, it shifts into heavy riffing, really like scary, delirious sounding synths from Frank Delgado, and then it goes back to
Sergio Vega's bass is when the way it's lined up with the guitar with Stephen Carpenter's guitar sounds work very well.
Yeah.
This song was pretty cool. The chorus really kept it alive, gave it that beating heart of this is a really good song. The verses were cool. They were fine. But I
think verses aren't supposed to be necessarily super memorable because it's a verse.
It's also about math, and a lot of people don't like math, so.
Oh, what was that?
Give it the math nerds.
So at this point, having finished side A, I'm like, all right, we're looking pretty good. Now,
the second half is where a lot of albums get ruined.
Yes, because some albums get a little bit front loaded. A band puts all of its potent cuts and singles in the front, and then it kind of sticks the more forgotten material in the back until you get to the closer.
Which isn't good. That's not what you want to do. It's not really.
It's got to be more evenly spaced.
All the greatest albums have songs that are all over the place that are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Now the next song.
Which is the opener for side B.
Pompeji. With a J-I, not a I-I. And this song is, while it's not my favorite song on the record, I think it best shows the album as a whole.
Yes, I totally agree with you. It's kind of right up there along with Genesis.
Yeah, it starts off with
how
this.
It displays its style.
What happens? I'm going to describe this again. I tried to describe this when we tried to record this last time.
Yeah,
it lulls and pulls you in with this.
Yes. It's like the tides. It's like
the tides.
Again, there's a lot of really aquatic imagery.
Which reminded me of that Tool song from Fear Inoculum. Is it Invincible that had that?
Descending.
Yeah. I get those two mixed up, but
yeah, no, it's fair. In fact, I think the only song that separates the two is Fear Inoculate. So I don't blame you. Because
Legion Inoculate
isn't. Thank you. That's exactly what I.
Oh, George!
Oh no!
Number one, and you didn't.
The Tool fan base is gonna crucify me.
Exactly. That's they're gonna feed. They're gonna put your body in where Maynard grows his grapes.
They're gonna.
You'll be grape juice.
I'm gonna be banished.
Fine
ostracized.
Juice. Yeah, and people will eat the dirt that comes from your body. Yeah, whatever. From Maynard wine. Basically, yeah, it pulls you in with this almost
dreamy, ocean-like verses and singing, and then out of nowhere,
it's like
chorus happens,
and then he's like pulling you in, like come near. And when you're getting that hug, that warm hug from Chino, the slice, and then he starts doing a scream out of nowhere, and he takes his knife and he stabs you, blood's flowing. You don't know what's happening, as all you can feel is the stab of the knife as it cuts into your flesh, and it happens again and again and again, and you fall on your knees, and then your head,
and then it returns.
But then you wake up from a dream, and Chino's standing there again, trying to pull you in again, and it's a repeating process. Happens a couple times.
Yes, it does. The verses, the relationship the verses have with the chorus is amazing, and it's quite possibly one of the clearest examples of how Deftones do their work in terms of dynamics. They just separate it out like that. They just go back and forth.
I did love the chorus. Here's my issue with the chorus. When he was what ruined the song for me was it's like that was left over from his bathroom period that he had earlier, and that he had sort of a bad one. But then he almost makes up for that. Like, no, I don't like that. I like the part where he's like, ooh, no, not that. I actually have to sing it to remember the next part. We are. I can't remember the lyric, but it's like there's something to be here. I love that.
Oh.
Yeah.
And we
we drink from the water. And that's interesting because it reminded me of what like at my church we have like the Holy Communion, and it's supposed to help.
Yes.
You drink from it and you repent.
Yes. That's
what it reminded me of. And I noticed at this point that there's quite a bit of this in Genesis. There's some religious references I think they're trying to throw into here.
That's super interesting to me because I totally get what you're saying. In fact, like the chorus is him screaming Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, you. Yeah.
I think he said about you gave something. I think
it changes per every single time. The verb that he uses. I think it's gave the first two times, and then it's raped the third time. I want to say.
Pull up the lyrics. Oh no, don't want to go there. A little intermission while we find lyrics.
No, it's raised. It's raised. It's not rape. Well,
never mind.
Aren't I just
George? How dare you?
Huh? Yeah, it's very interesting.
But I mean, yeah, you can hear things.
There's religious imagery in this. However, it's a little bit on the negative side. I'm looking at this first chorus. It's Jesus and this is the song Pompeji quote. Jesus Christ, you watch us fail. We raise our glasses and drink in hell. Ooh.
Yeah, that can. Yeah,
it's interesting.
That's what, and a lot of people go through that.
Well,
we're dying here. Why don't you help us? And yeah, but I don't want to get too religious with this. But yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but it's fascinating. The lyrical content, but how they make the association to water. I guess because holy water?
Holy, it could refer to a baptism, but...
That's true.
Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
anyway.
This song was cool. It was interesting. Not one of my favorites, but it served its purpose.
Yes.
Now, this legendary song known as This Link Is Dead.
Kick your ideas and fight.
George, explain.
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 Explain yourself. So.
Oh yeah, and there was no bathroom issues at all with this one. In fact, the complete opposite happened.
Yes, I completely concur with you. I want to make a note first off how it begins because, again, I talked about how Genesis flows into ceremony ever so nicely. This one is even better because Pompeii ends with this very lovely sounding keyboard synth from Frank, with the ocean and seagulls sound samples being played over the top of it. But then it flows right into This Link is Dead, which has a terrifying sounding synth. That synth just becomes kind of serene and happy and is contorted into something twisted and absolutely horrific.
The guitar is, even though at first it's not super heavy, and mixed with Chino's ferocious scream, which is layered with a lot of mixing and
distortion,
which I'm not a huge fan of that a lot, but Deftones use this very well. Unlike a lot of bands overuse it, and it's like, okay, the I'll lie while you walk on right now. That just mean
no, that won't work. Yeah, it's very angry. Very angry
and
song.
It's like this for like
the majority of the song.
Yeah, but when he sings, it's still kind of freaky.
Yes, and I wanted to.
And that tone I'm gonna say this quickly. The tone is definitely what makes the song is Sergio's Sergio's vape. Sergio vape. His bass really adds, but Frank Delgado's.
Oh God!
I was gonna say that, but they all have weird names. Even Frank Delgado is his last name, but only Abe Cunningham has kind of a normalish name. But yeah, his that synth adds a whole other layer to the song, which
absolutely
really makes the song "This Link Is Dead." It really makes it one of the best tracks on the album.
Yes, and I wanted to circle back to what you're saying about the riffing, because when I was listening to this and making notes about each song, the riffing to the verses that accompany the Chino's very almost pent up, distorted, angry vocal, almost kind of rapish in a sense, delivery. Stefan's riffing, the only way that I can describe it is what I wrote down, which is, and I quote, this is what I wrote down: straight jacketed riffing that teeters on psychosis. It's just this insane, almost like a guy, like somebody on the brink of insanity, and it's just such a tension-filled riff that of someone dangerously about to snap and when he absolutely lose control.
When he finally does an actual a riff or something, then it's it's breaking. You've reached a breaking point.
Exactly.
Like when he was, I'm in love with true hatred.
Yeah, it's
pretty cool. It's like you've given up, but you're not screaming I can't deal with this anymore. That's why the guitar tone and the vocal are linked together, and it makes the song title, they're linked together.
But it's not dead.
It's definitely not dead. This link is alive.
It's an alive link.
I'll give you an alive link. Feel my cattle prod.
And then next song, this one was
Radiant
the one
City. A little bit more.
Age well, I'd say, with repeated listens.
His screaming is really good, and the bass line is unique. There's something inside me. There's not much to say about this song except when he gets to the screaming part. You could do the honors with what your issue with it is.
Yeah, so we get to that almost pre-chorus. Like it's the lyrical hook that kind of keeps reoccurring throughout the song after he sings the verse, after Chino sings the verse, and it's like, and it's I see the ledge, I can't touch it. Say yes! Like
Yeah.
and just the way that he says that, and for whatever reason, doesn't quite sit well with me. Like it's a perfectly
I can
fine
see
lyric
that.
choice, and for whatever reason, like I can deal with repeated lyrics perfectly fine. For whatever reason, that one just didn't really mesh well with me. But as is, what I really liked about the song though is I love the dynamic in the music between the verses and the chorus. The chorus is incredibly sparse, musically sparse. It's very open sounding, and there's not a lot going on except like some simple drumming from Abe Cunningham, Frank Delgado providing a very beautiful synth, and Chino just singing.
And Terry
The
Date
verses-
doing everything. That makes
Yeah,
it sound
and
great.
and the verses are just like filled to the brim with like Stefan and Sergio just linking in with this crazy sounding riff, and it's pretty musically busy. That's the way that I can put it. But no, it's okay. It's an okay song.
Yeah. I will say the part when he screams, "Where's the ledge?" When he just says ledge, everything is combined as one. You hear that like that you hear that synth.
Yeah.
That you hear that synth that Frank Delgado does, and then even the guitar tone is around that. It's like, where's that? And I really dig that part. But the chorus was a bit off-putting a little bit, but it was a cool song.
Yeah,
It's
that's fair.
interesting. Now, next track. Headless. This song,
Yeah.
throughout this song, the guitar riff really reminded me a bit too much of a great track that this band had done off their album Diamond Eyes, and this track is called "You've Seen the Butcher." That guitar tone. Well, the song isn't bad, but I feel like they just kind of ripped off.
It's too derivative.
It's just, to me, it's too much like that, and I was like, I didn't like that very much, but
That's fair.
yeah,
That's
so
a fair, that's
it's
a fair
like
point.
he was going to the bathroom and there was nothing bad or good, so he just took his old bathroom issues that he had before, and
Why must you keep centering all of your?
I don't know. That was the only logical connection I can.
Oh, this is logical.
It's the most logical thing for Pavlos.
Fair. I suppose that's a good point.
Thank you.
And you just referred to yourself in the third person. Lars Ulrich would be happy with you.
Oh yeah, I think that, good old Lars. What's Lars doing? Hit
Well,
from the head. What are you
'cause
doing, Lars? What's
it's a-
happening?
That's a reference to his to this Apple music radio show that he did for a bit called It's Electric. He would always end each episode with "Don't refer to yourself in the third person," and I'll see you next time. So
I've heard him
I don't
talk
know.
about himself in the third person.
Oh God.
The day Guitar Hero broke Lars.
Lars, what just happened?
Sorry. Sorry for all the bad things I've done in my life.
Absolutely. But yeah, going back to the song Headless.
Go ahead.
It sure, well, yeah. I mean, the title implies. But I think what I really liked, I liked how the verses were very sparse and start-stop. Like it's got this weird kind of clunky groove. It's almost like it's got this feel like it has a groove, but it's a bit more clunky than normal. I like
Ripping off a song.
I like the well, yeah, there's that. In your opinion, okay. Well, let me tackle that. So interestingly enough, you've seen the Butcher as being kind of similar to this.
Yeah.
For me, I got almost I got vibes from parts of the song reminded me of the closing track to Gore, which was a song called Rubicon. For whatever reason, I think some of the riffs on Headless almost invoked a similar feel to maybe some of the riffs on Rubicon for whatever reason. But that's the musical connection I made. So yeah, there's not much to say about this.
I'll give you a Rubicon. It has. Why does a Rubicon makes me feel like something from like the thing in that like a key like a holocron from Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I get you. Yeah, that makes sense.
Sith holocron. Do it. Do it.
But yeah, so Headless, I think it's fine. I think it kind of sits right alongside it kind of sits right alongside Ceremony and to me. It just kind of it's nice material that keeps the album going. But speaking of that, we're at the end of the album already. It's the title track.
This is our time. We devour the days ahead.
And this song, this is how I imagine it. It's like they're finished the last 9 songs, and someone comes in and says, "Hello, Deftones," and they all look over and they say, If you could leave the world with one to ponder on something that they should ponder about, what would you do?" And then they all just did that. And then
this song.
It's because it leaves you thinking about things. Like, but lyrically, it's one of their best. It's one of the best lyric, like based on the lyrics on that in the album, because it's like it basically sums up the whole album and like what they feel in the future. It's kind of like they're talking about what the future of the world is. But this could also be music, because like we're surrounded by debris from the past.
Yeah.
And we could do a segment just looking at where we could in general look at lyrics and songs and decipher.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this could be a song that we do.
Well, I think this would be an interesting one to lyrically dissect. I think
Dissection. It's a band.
I think we're not going to say too much about this song musically because we already kind of talked about it when the song came out.
It's a really good song.
It's a really good song. You go check out this. Go check out that episode where we talk about a whole bunch of singles that were released. Among them being Corey Taylor, Marilyn Manson, Gojira, Deftones, etc. And so I don't know. I think I'm not going to repeat what I said about this song. It is what it is. Lyrically, though, I do want to make a note of how the chorus is. I'm going to pull this up here. One moment, please. Pavlos, say some stuff. Say
take me home, country roads.
Okay, I'm good.
John Denver. Yeah.
The chorus the chorus of the song was, time won't change this promise we made, and time won't change this, we shall remain. I'm really taken by the line, time won't change this.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're almost predicting like
the future.
Because the whole world's weathering a pandemic right now. It's almost like they're saying, well,
it came out during the pandemic, so it meant a lot. Especially.
Well, yeah, and it's like, well, is time gonna really change the fact this fact? Like, is time gonna make the coronavirus disappear? It makes me feel like maybe they're saying perhaps not. and that's a super cool lyric to ponder.
And that's what I like. Again, that's why I like how. That's why I like. It felt like if they had the last thing to say, then to make us think about it, this would be it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this song was really. I remember when it came out. Late night.
Oh yeah.
It's pouring rain outside. I decided to listen to my Deftones playlist. I listened to the first 6 or 7 songs before this came out. Came in, my hair was dripping. I was headbanging outside in front, the front of my house. It was awesome. It was really cool.
Yeah.
And then what happened? And then I came back in, and I listened to the song, and I had this big smile on my face as soon as I heard the now, and you could still headbang to it, even though it wasn't a huge riff. And then my face just went. One of the biggest smiles I've had this year came from when I heard, "We're surrounded by debris." Oh. And I was just like so happy. It was first song I'd heard in my lifetime that I can remember as a fan that came out since I've been a fan, and it was really
it's always a big thing. It's always a big thing when you discover a band and then you finally are like, oh, I'm gonna experience like waiting for the new album. Like
and it was a good wait. It was so worth it.
Yeah, I remember. And for me, I had a similar experience with "We Are Not Your Kind." For me,
same.
I was so hyped.
I had that too.
For that record. Yeah,
and it didn't because it had really good singles.
Yes, it did.
Tainted, out of this world, but
Soulwave Firth and
Soulwave Firth grew on me, and
yes,
Nero Forte is great too.
Yeah, that was the verse or the single that they put out after the album was fully released, right?
Yeah, I think
at least it got video treatment, music video treatment.
It has a weird video, but yeah.
Yes.
Going back to Ohms, I feel like if they played live, that would be a perfect main set closer, or even an encore.
Yes.
I would be okay if that was an encore.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like Change would be a good encore, just the last song they play.
Yeah.
Or what if they opened their encore with Ohms, and then you heard the intro, you heard the guitar to Change. So out of this.
So good.
I watched you change. That would be a cool. I feel like Deftones are one of the coolest bands that we could do to look at lyrics for, because their lyrics are so
obscure. And
Change in the House of Flies as a title is really obscure, but yeah.
Every time that I think about that title, I almost picture like a
I picture the cover of the book Lord of the Flies.
Interesting. I'm picturing more of like this weird like orange yellowish glow with this like, because the song,
it plays with your imagination.
Well, exactly. And I think for me, I don't know why the song feels so romantic in a sense.
Lyrically, it kind of is. It's like, it kind of sounds like a relationship if you take the lyric.
It almost sounds endearing. Yeah, exactly.
Like, I watched you change. Like, I found out who you really were. And then it's really dark at the end when it's like, I look at the cross and then I look away.
Blow me away.
It's such an atmospheric track, and it sounds so.
Yes.
It might be their best song. It's weird because I don't like saying that a band's biggest hit, but this is an example where the band's biggest hit is the most unique song in their discography.
Yes.
This is up there.
For sure, but like, so when I listen to Change, like, there's this element where it's like, okay, House of Flies, I kind of picture fireflies, this like,
you would not believe your eyes if 10 million
fireflies.
Haha.
Like this, like an album cover where it's like a yellowish orange glow, and because of its almost romantic sounding like singing that Chino does, I picture a like this because I'm because I'm heterosexual. I pictured like almost like this humanoid, like firefly girl woman. Like that's what I picture when I imagine this song for whatever reason. But I don't know. It's interesting.
All right. Yeah, it's a fantastic song. I picture the music video, which is really because it's Chino's doing like a weird thing. It's really weird music.
I've only seen the still frame for it, and it's him looking like he's like mid. He's like all sweaty, and he kind of has this distant look in his eyes.
And he looks all drugged up, which he probably was at the time.
Probably.
But yeah, what were your final thoughts on the whole album as a whole?
Yeah, so overall, this is a fantastic album. I mean, like 2020 is treating us pretty darn good in terms of music.
Yes.
And this just only makes it even better.
One of the best albums of 2020. Maybe
absolutely. Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Testament's Titans of Creation might give it a run for its money, or at least the two can duke it out for the title.
Yeah, I can see that.
But we're not even done with the year yet. Who knows? So I want to quote something that another thing that Dave Cunningham said during during an interview with Apple Music, and he described the quote that he used to describe this album was one sentence: "It's beauty meets aggression," and I absolutely love this quote.
Exactly.
Because not only does it sum up the album, but it sums up the entire band as a whole, what they've been doing for literal decades. Been doing in the alt metal world.
They've done a good job. They've done a good job doing what they do.
Yes, absolutely. Again, Terry Date did a fantastic job in the production here. It's very clear.
I salute my boy Terry Date right now. Done.
And it's very layered because it needs to be, because you have on one end you have Frank Delgado doing his atmospheric effects and synths and flourishes in the background, and then up front you have this heavy alt metal that Cunningham is doing, Steph's doing, Sergio's doing. Chino's kind of like in between the two worlds.
Yeah.
But it to me, like, making it layered and having Frank Delgado in the back just gives all these songs just that how I put it, as ethereal backbone to them. Like it gives it structure, rigidity that makes the alt metal stand out and pop, I guess.
It adds an atmosphere that we've never seen in the band before.
Exactly.
It seemed like they were trying to do the same. It was like they were trying to do that thing with Gore, but they never were able
quite got there.
But they got this. This is definitely their best sound with atmospherically. This is their best album.
Yes, and I think, as we referenced when we heard Ohms, when we reviewed Ohms, this whole album is a perfect balance between Stefan's metal background and Chino's more melodic, atmospheric.
It combines everything to make like a soup of
deliciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also want to note how concise the album is. It's only 10 songs. That's pretty good when you're
45 minutes too.
Yeah, when you're looking at an album and its scope is because some people like really long albums, and I get that. More songs means more material.
That works if you're a Tool fan.
Yes. However, you could get instances where you get critically, like Nine Inch Nails, when they first released The Fragile, critics panned it or noted that it was weak, noted its weaknesses were that it was too long. That it was the opposite of your typical writer's block. It was the writer's block of too many ideas and couldn't.
And now look at what it became, though. It did become.
It's now one of the best Nine Inch Nails albums in their discography, and it's super amazing. But that initial reaction is to be noted, and I didn't I love the album, but and I didn't mind its length, but that is something to be said. That the fact that it was so concise, and the fact that they narrowed it down to 10 songs, and that was the album. That's pretty impressive. I also want to note that, this album really did show that Deftones got a lot of fire left in the tank. Got a lot of fire left in the tummy. Got a lot of
just when you least expect it, they just come back with you with fire, more ammunition.
Exactly, and it just feels like they could go for like a couple more albums. And if this is the musical direction that they're taking it, this hybrid of atmospherics of gore and just a classic diamondized Koi no Yokan alt metal sound that they've done on previous albums, like I'm all in. Seriously, I am all for it. I think this is great, and I gave it the rating 8.8 out of 10.
Awesome.
How about you?
What were your favorite tracks and least favorite tracks?
Oh yeah, forgot to do that. Favorite tracks: Genesis, Urantia, Pompeji, This Link Is Dead, and the title track. I think those are mine. Those are my faves. Least favorites? Probably. I mean, it's hard. None of these I didn't fully hate, but I guess Error and Radiant City were the weakest.
That really poopy Error song.
Well, I really wonder what you're gonna say is a bad track. How about you, Papa?
Wouldn't you like to know? All right.
I'm gonna flip the questions on you. Well, actually, I have to rank it.
Yeah, rank it, please. Yeah. How would this? In your opinion?
This lands smack dab in the middle, my good sir. It's not. I don't think it. I don't think it's like, because it's brand new. It's hard to say that it's better than like the classics like Around the Fur and White Pony and what Koi no Yokan and Diamond Eyes are becoming. But it's definitely it's definitely like kind of pretty solid. It's a lot, I think, more consistent than Self-Titled and Gore. I know a lot of people don't like Saturday Night Wrist. I like that album, but I acknowledge that it's not universally acclaimed, so I'm kind of leaving it out of this. So I say Ohms gets like right smack dab in the middle of their discography. I think it's good.
All right. I think the simplest way to describe this record is it's calming but harsh, or peaceful, but it's also violent at times.
Yeah,
especially Pompeji is a great example. But Deftones, they're kind of an enigma in metal. No band, especially in this genre, is this good for this amount of time. It's unheard of. Like,
absolutely.
Like, the reason that's, like, for example, Slayer. They don't have to change. They basically kept the same, a very similar construction of their sound, but just every album they had a different, unique way of approaching it. But it was the exact same, like,
formula
sound. They never really changed. Yeah. With anything that has to do with, especially alternative music, the only way for you to fit in is to change that style.
Yeah.
And no band does this better than Deftones. Like, just when you think, oh, they can't do it, Ohms proves otherwise.
Yes.
Diamond proved otherwise.
White Pony proved otherwise.
I mean, nothing. It's unheard of. Nothing ever. No band does this, but Deftones did it. They've proved otherwise, and I think they're going to continue doing that for a long time. I see at least 2 or 3 more albums ahead. That could be great.
I agree.
Who knows?
I agree with you.
This album is really good. My grade for it, 8 out of a solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah, so we kind of landed in the same range.
And the same favorite tracks. The 4 best tracks off this were as follows. The best is Urantia.
Yep.
I'm gonna put Ohms number 2 because it might not be the best of the 4 I'm gonna say, but I think because when I heard it, I was so excited, and that it takes me back to that day.
Yeah.
Then Genesis and This Link is Dead are the 4 best
Yep.
tracks. The worst track on the record is the terrible song Error.
Well, half of a terrible song.
Yeah. Ugh. Poopy song. Got some issues. And I'm only going to say Headless because it just bothered me to the point of annoyance that it felt like they just kind of ripped off You've Seen the Butcher. But yeah.
I don't see it, but I guess that's
what's interesting about music, because everyone can view it differently.
Yeah, and I really wanted to note, oh no, the thought left me.
Don't worry, think about it while I rank this with the rest.
Oh yes, you haven't done that yet.
So here's my order from worst to best. So I'm gonna put, again, this is my opinion. So the first 2 are kind of tied with Gore and Saturday Night Wrist. Gore has some good tracks. We talked about the good ones, Phantom Bride and Prayers/Triangles. Saturday Night Wrist has some cool stuff. Hole in the Earth is amazing. Mine is great. I believe mine got a Grammy, if I remember.
Did it now?
Or
I
something
think it
off
might
that
have
record
got a nomination if I
maybe
recall.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a cool song. And then the next selection is Adrenaline and Around the Fur. Just some hard, heavy albums that are that are really good. Solid records. Where even though Adrenaline is the least Deftones album they've ever released, it's still solid. And then after that, I am gonna put. I'm also gonna put Self-Titled with that because it's a weird one. It's just a weird one in the discography. And then after that, I'm actually gonna put the new album Ohms right there with Diamond Eyes, because Ohms is a different sound that they've done in the past, and again, it gives us hope that in the future that it's a perfect example of how special Deftones are, is in the fact that they did never change. Like they change, and they're a band that, for whatever reason, are experts at changing and finding ways to still be active and still produce great albums.
So
yeah, but then after that, I'm gonna put Koi no Yokon and White Pony, because just those are the most best 2. White Pony, I don't really have to
say much. It's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah, those were my selections. Gotta love Deftones.
For sure. So I looked up what you're saying about mine. It does not say that it got any award. The awards that, according to Wikipedia, so take this with a wee bit of grain of salt. The awards that, according to this Wikipedia page, that Deftones have won, or that had either been nominated or won, nominated and won, was in 2001, Elite won Best Metal Performance.
Oh, Elite is so good.
Which is awesome. White Pony.
I've never heard him do anything like that since.
He hasn't done anything since. Yeah, it's really neat.
This Link is Dead, sort of, but not on that level. I think Elite is.
Yes, I agree.
An elite song, an elite level of Deftones. Yeah.
I think that's maybe why the title is the way it is.
We are ready. Yeah.
California Music Awards awarded White Pony Outstanding Hard Rock Heavy Metal Album.
It might be the best alt metal album ever made. White Pony.
I mean, I think it basically writes the book on alt metal. Period.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if Faith No More and Helmet did kind of set the rules back in the 90s, Deftones just ripped up those rules and wrote the modern standard with White Pony for sure. And Koi no Yokon at the Revolver Golden Gods Award, at the Revolver Magazine Golden God Awards. It won Album of the Year.
That's great. That's really cool.
So there you go.
I bet we know what time it is.
I think we do.
Can you say it with me?
Yeah, man.
Yes! Yes! Oh my gosh! Yeah! Oh yeah! Next, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah! Next, yeah. Yeah! You'll hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Pavlos, what's the yeah segment for today?
You're gonna love it. We're doing Guess That Song in 1 second! Challenge.
Wow.
I'll be sharing my
Challenge.
We're doing a Zoom, which isn't the ideal thing, but I don't care. I'm my own country.
It is what it is.
Shut up. But yeah, my dog's whining. It's ugh. All right, George, close thine eyes.
I shall close thine eyes.
Better keep it closed. I'm watching you. Before we start this, we can actually open them right now. You can open them right now. I'm gonna do a quick play test for you. Y'all can hear a song.
Yeah.
What song should we choose? Ooh,
I don't know.
Brotherhood of the Snake. Do you hear something?
Yeah.
All right, shut up, Brothers Testament. No one cares. I'm sorry. I love this song. It's the best
Wow.
song, but all right, close your eyes again.
All right, my eyes are closed. They are closed. This must be so riveting for the listeners.
Yeah. This is Pinnacle Entertainment. All right, keep them closed.
Pinnacle Entertainment.
All right, so you're gonna guess this one song in 1 second, and when you do, my dog's whining again. All right, you ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1.
That. Okay. I know it. I know it.
Is it like right? Do you want me to hear it again? You want to hear it again?
No. I just have to think of the title.
You know the band.
I do know the band. It's Death. It's
okay.
It's the death metal band Death. It's I think it. My guess is.
I'm eating chips, by the way. First of all. Oh, what?
Zero Tolerance is my guess.
Ding ding.
Woo! Yay!
You can look at the cover art. It's pretty beautiful.
Oh man.
You can barely see it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Look at all this visually based content for our audio platform.
That no one's gonna see. No, let me describe it to you. So there's a white thing in there. There's some black dots going there. That's squares. The Deftones. Close your eyes.
Okay.
What your He's putting his mask for his face.
Yeah.
All right.
I have
all right.
to come up with creative ways to cover my eyes.
Yeah, but they're not even going to see it. All right. So the next song is. I'm not going to tell you the name. You might be pretty good at this. So I know. I'm pretty sure you've heard at least all, but maybe one of the songs. I think you've heard all of them at some point. One of the songs I'm questionable on. Like I don't know.
Okay.
So
we'll see.
3, 2, 1.
Oh no! I reckon. Oh.
You want to hear it again?
Yes, please. It's Rammstein.
There you go.
I know that much.
This was one of the songs I heard by them as well.
Okay. God. Oh no.
It's Lost.
Yes, of course. Yes, it's totally.
You got any idea? You get half points if you got the artist. Wait, no. Keep your eyes closed. Do you want to know what it is, or?
I want to come up with a guess, but right. I honestly don't know what it is.
Because it's in German. That's part of it.
Yeah.
That has to be part of it.
Oh man, what a revelation!
It's a headbanger. I will say that.
Oh, headbanger.
All right.
Oh, neat.
You ready? You want me to?
Yeah, I give.
All right.
Oh, Bestrafamist.
Bestrafamish.
Bestrafamist.
I love this. It's one of my favorite tracks off the record.
Nice. It's a good one.
Bestrafamish.
Mitch.
Bestrafamish.
Mitch.
Strohert Gott in Gottverstein. Danke Größe. Mach mich klein. Du darfst mein Bestrafer sein. Ja. Close your eyes. God.
Is this fun?
Sorry.
Is this even fun for our listeners? Can they even
No.
hear any? Oh,
They can hear this.
that's
'Cause I'm-
true.
99%. Yeah, because the audio that's recording from you is from the computer.
Oh, okay. Got
That's
it.
how I read it from. All right.
Well,
This one might be
In
an
that
easy
case.
one. All right, let's try it. Imagine this one throws you off. I want one of these to really throw you off.
prayer disturbed.
By who? Oh, darn you. All right, you can look.
Yeah.
I love this.
Prayer.
This is You didn't see anything.
I only saw the ones that we've done before.
All right, close.
All right.
Close!
Close my eyes.
Faster! All right, there you go. All right. Let's see.
Have it fun, also.
I'm hoping this
one out there, listeners.
All right, I'm hoping this one. Oh, not what I wanted. All right. Let's do this.
Oh,
Do you want me to play it again?
please.
There's gonna be so many things.
I know nothing. I know literally nothing.
You want me to play it in one more time?
Yeah, just give it to me one more time.
All right. Did you want to? Don't open them yet. I just want you to hear it until you figure out what it is. Did you want to know?
Okay.
Know it?
No, I don't.
Wait. It's coming up.
Okay.
I think the first lyrics.
Oh,
This has a long intro.
yes. This is Oh, that's awesome.
Marching bands in
Okay.
Manhattan.
Nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
1 point for me.
Indeed, and 1 point is to you.
That was a good one. That was
a.
a pretty good one. Because
You stumped me on that one, man.
I know you heard, but I was like, this. I was gonna do Soul Meets Body, but I was like, that's easy because you're the.
Oh, yeah,
All right,
I would have
close.
gotten that.
You don't get to look at anything until I tell you to.
Okay, master.
All right. Yeah. There's a pretty good variety of music that I'm playing.
Yeah, I like it. This is good. This is a good list. Oh, and by the way,
Yeah.
never mind. No.
All right. 3,
Yeah,
2,
it's
1.
gibberish.
Yeah. Here we go.
That's Lamb of God.
Yeah. Want to hear it again?
Yes, please. On the Hook.
Yeah.
Is that the song?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That's my guess.
All right.
That was my guess.
Do you know what it is? Now?
Oh,
I'm really
no,
surprised. All right.
no.
Well, I'm gonna put it in the middle now.
Oh, okay, yeah, got it.
Say.
To fail, yeah, set to fail.
So where you
But yeah, that 1 point to you. Yeah, that you got me there, man.
Well, that was like a half point because you got the artist.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I did get Lamb of God.
All right, keep your eyes closed.
They are closed. You could see the thumbs. Nobody can see this. But,
all right, this one I'm really hopeful that this one will. This one. All right, let's click at the beginning. Put the music back on. All right, let's do this.
All right. I'm ready.
You know what it is?
Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin.
Darn it! I saw someone do this, and basically they couldn't get it. I heard the doo.
Really?
And they're like, an extra note, and the guy kept on playing like 6 times. He was, I don't know what it is. And when he heard the doo, and he's like, and he hit his head against his face and went, no.
That's crazy.
My parents would
I listened to that song.
No talking, hey!
Okay, sorry.
All right, keep them eyes closed.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you think of my list so far?
It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
No, like in all actuality, it is good. I'm enjoying this thoroughly.
Yeah, I'm gonna. If you guys want to know what these are, I'll probably put a link on the YouTube, and then yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
More chips. All right. Dose trace 3, 2, 1, 67. Go.
About a Girl, Nirvana.
Good. All right.
Yeah.
Have you heard the have you heard of the version that have you heard the terrible Puddle of Mud cover?
Oh, I've heard of the meme. I've heard the memes about it.
I need a easy friend.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's so funny.
I'm gonna show you at some point, and it's hilarious. It's so funny. And
for anybody who wants,
one of his band members is trying hard not to laugh. He's like, yeah. All right. Next one.
All right, next one. I'm ready.
This one I don't know if you're gonna get it. It's kind of like yeah, you'll see.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Give it to me one more time.
This one's pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Song I would have gone for sure.
It did this one. The riff sounds very familiar, like the tone.
I've heard you say you liked the song on the album that it's on.
Okay. Yes, I think that was enough of a hint. Is it Red Fang?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Hank is Dead, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
I love this song.
I love that song. It's so good.
Nowhere rising here.
Yeah.
Somebody. It starts off so well.
I love it.
I heard that was the second song they played live on the set, if I remember. Because what did they open with? Gosh. Mammon Wires that they opened with. They had a good set. Set list.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Red Fang's awesome, man. They're
oh,
cool
did
band.
you listen to the stuff I sent for them?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of the albums?
I think outside of Prehistoric Dog, I think none of them were were up there with the cuts off of Murder in the Mountains, but it was pretty good.
Did you listen to Only Ghost?
Yes, I did.
What did you think of that one?
That was pretty good. It was a pretty good album. I have to give it a few more spins. First listen, like there was some cool stuff on it, but nothing like immediately grabbing like Murder in the Mountains was.
Prehistoric Dog's probably their best song.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Are you just gonna keep that one song just because it's such a banger?
No, I'll keep the album. The album was good as a whole.
I like Sharks. At the cowbell. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, from Portland, guys. Check them out. They're awesome.
Yeah, Red Fang. They're good.
Right. Here's a weird one.
This could either be our best or worst yeah segment yet.
Yeah, we'll see. You're gonna do one for me at some point because
Okay, I'll have to
All
give
right.
it some thought then.
I gave you 13. All right, let's do this.
Oh, I like the longer choice. Desert Rose, Sting.
God
Yeah.
Oh,
Is that the next one?
yeah. Then I was not. I thought I turned the volume down. All right, ready for this?
Yes, absolutely. That's Tired by Stone Sour.
Yep.
That riff,
I love this part.
Dude,
hope
so
it's
good.
yeah. I'm alive in here, so alive.
Alive in here. Yeah.
I am man here. I am the only know. Oh, that song reminds me of the Highway 666 a little bit.
Oh yeah, I
Only
can see
death
it, yeah.
provides love and light running on the wall.
Yeah, for sure.
Closed. George, naughty boy, you're ruining it. He's not.
What am I ruining?
I don't know. All right, here's the next
Oh.
track.
I'm so confused.
All right, you ready?
Yep, I am.
1.
Oh, Fireflies by Owl City.
Yeah, for the
Dude,
meme.
Okay, dude. I want to say, full blown confession here for all of the listeners.
You like it?
To
It's pretty good.
witness. This song is pretty damn good. I will say though that
Remember when it came out?
the
When it was big.
the chorus. The chorus is the only part that I really like. The verses are borderline annoying. A little bit.
Hate relate. All right, here's the next one.
It's okay. Like it's pretty good. I dig it. Yeah.
All right, here's the next one.
All right. Cool.
Second to last.
Ooh. Okay. Oh, that is Medusa by Anthrax.
You good at this?
I have listened to a lot of the stuff that you're playing.
All right, last one.
Mm-hmm.
Medusa, she's staring at you. With her eye. That's a really catchy chorus. I love it.
I know. It's very good. Very good chorus.
Almost as good as Fireflies. You would not believe your eyes of 10 million fireflies. Or Desert Rose. Let it rain. Chino Chicken. Dream of rain. All right, you ready for this one? Last one.
Yep, I'm ready for the last one. Yep. Oh, I know that's Testament.
You want to hear it again?
Is it Testament? I just want to make sure
Yeah.
I'm on
I was thinking
okay.
that this would throw you off because you might think it's a Slayer riff because it kind of sounds like a
Right, and I could totally see that. Is it Rise Up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes.
When I say rise up,
Rise up.
you
You
war. Rise up.
War.
Rise up.
War.
I love that. Oh, yeah, so good selection. These are all excellent songs, actually. Mostly.
Yes, I definitely agree. Yeah.
Except for maybe Fireflies.
Well, Fireflies is fine. I think that one's okay. That one gets a pass in my book.
Shoot,
Even though it's not
I think I chose, which I was happy with. I was happy with what I...
This is great. Yeah, this is a great selection of tunes that you got here, man.
Oh,
I like it.
Bouncing Bands of Manhattan completely threw
Oh
away.
god. Well, because it's just a synth. It's just an opening synth. It's like, okay, that could be thousands of different songs.
Yeah, some people could never get these because Bastrofa Mish was a bit you knew it was Rammstein, but
I automatically knew it was Rammstein, and I knew I listened to it because I'm like, oh yeah, this is a Rammstein tune, but I couldn't place it. Probably because Bestrafen Mitch is not one of my utmost favorites from Sehnsucht.
Okay.
But it's pretty good. I like it. I'm more of a fan of
the song
I like
Stripped.
The title track.
Come back
Come
to
with
the
me
land.
into the trees.
These are
We lay
stupid.
on the grass.
We'll let ours pass. It's so funny. It's like they made it. It's like a comedy sketch.
Yeah, well, they did a pretty good job with the music.
It's a cover. Yes, Depeche Mode cover.
Yes.
Well, Depeche Mode went, "Let me see." They made it more like weird,
Yes.
more romantic.
Well, yeah, and I think that's the thing that the Rammstein cover is interesting because it's a totally different angle on that song. Because the reasons why those lyrics originally worked for Depeche Mode is that they had a whole bunch of like echoey reverb to the vocals, and it was just it was like that.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. But yeah, like Sinsucht is a great album. The title track's great. Engel is very pretty. Tier is pretty fun.
Are Rammstein becoming a favorite? Top 20?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh God. I think yes. I think just with Mutter and Reise alone, I think those two I think kind of definitely put them in there. Sinsucht and Herzeleid are also great.
Gotta love
albums as well.
Rammstein.
And the rest of their stuff is fine. Like rest of their stuff's solid.
Yeah, gotta love Rammstein with what's the song? Oh my gosh, this is killing me. Rise. It's from Rise. Not the
Is it Moscow?
No. Usually kein Lust.
Oh, kind of.
Have you seen the music video?
No,
they're all in fat body. They're all in fat suits. And they're all really fat, except their faces aren't.
Oh, weird.
Fat looking, and so so he's in a thick suit. And so he's trying to grab the mic, so he just puts his face against it and goes, she got
That's so weird.
The song is weird by itself. Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
I love Rammstein. Shout out to Rammstein for always putting on a good performance.
Yes. I mean, I have never seen a band more committed to just so many weird but awesome theatrical ideas.
Puppet.
Oh God.
Ich weiß, der Puppet. Oh, ja. Ich bin dit gut. That song might be the best track on the album.
It's either that on
Deutschland's great too.
Yes, for those that are a little lost, we're referring to the untitled / self-titled Rammstein album, which came out last year.
When I gave that to you, did you write for the title?
I said untitled.
Did you put parentheses? Did you put it with parentheses? Some people put it in parentheses to make it
really,
which kind of adds a weird element to it when you look at parentheses. It's like, oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's just a it's such a weird album art. Just a match, and it's like
it's just a match.
And the CD version, you could only get a special. It's like it was sort of like Tool's Fear Inoculum.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you got like a bit, but it's got like cool artwork and stuff of each member.
Yes,
weird.
I recall looking there. So for just a little story time while we're winding down this episode of our segment. There's a CD store that I like going to called Music Millennium. It's a good place to go shopping for CDs and stuff. And their news section, like their new CD section, is pretty expansive. Like you can find stuff ranging from like Anthrax to the Deicide to the Tool,
Bono's self-titled album,
to like U2. Like they got a lot of stuff. They got a lot of good rock and metal stuff there. And most importantly, most importantly for this conversation, I should say, their Rammstein section is particularly extensive. And I remember the one, I think I went to this over summer during quarantine. I had a gift certificate that I wanted to go get some CDs on, and I was considering getting some more Rammstein because I was listening to Mutter by then and I was digging it and I'm like, oh yeah, Rammstein, they're pretty dope. And so
Is that
I
something
looked
you
at their
want to do?
section
End up getting
and-
their CDs or special versions of them if they release?
maybe I think I think the problem is like it's so my brain has a hard time processing like why are you buying something that you already got? Like I think I did that with a Behemoth record on that same shopping run that I did at Music Millennium, but that was only because that was the last studio album that I didn't own physically. Like it was an easy I could use it, and plus it was a gift certificate, so it was of no cost to me. But going back to what I was saying, yeah, the Rammstein section I think had all of their albums. I think they had a couple of copies of
Live stuff
of their Untitled.
Okay.
Of their Untitled album, and it was the material was the digipack like coarse, like the white.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I don't own
Yeah,
it, but I got it from the library. Oh
Yes,
yeah, that
it
was the weirdest thing I've ever got from the library. It's a big pack, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's yes. So I remember that distinctly how coarse and sandpaper like the white part of that album was. You could feel it through the plastic wrap.
Yeah.
Like, that's how coarse it was. But
Ish
yeah,
Risers the Puppeteer. Ooh.
yeah.
Should-
But yeah,
okay, future episode, look at Rammstein lyrics in English.
absolutely. That would be a lot of fun. I think I don't know how fun it would be.
Auslander!
I don't know how fun this episode was.
Pew
for our
pew pew
listeners,
pew
but-
pew 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 pew. Oh my baby, c'est sad I'm be. Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, Mon chéri.
Mon chéri.
It's an Auslander. The song is so
That's
funny.
so-
Or
I love
radio.
Yeah,
Radio. Mein Radio.
radio.
Ist, wenn sie ich hänge Augen meiner aufgewehrt.
Listeners, is this what you find entertaining?
Radio! Mein Radio!
A couple of teenagers just horribly singing German.
Studio wie mir Schwaboi! Das Studio Woo! Mein Teil. That's the yeah segment, everybody! Yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Don't forget to send your song requests to our email so we can look over songs at just a couple metalheads at gmail.com. No spaces or stuff like that. I mean, why would you have a space in email when you click the space? It's a whole new email. So you'd have to email to just an account called Just, which doesn't make any sense. So just a couple metalheads at gmail.com. Send in your songs. We'll take a look at any genre. And just so you all know, the way we would format this is we'd all choose your songs, and this is something we'll do every once in a while, and we'll just give our reviews, whether we like it or not. We might do a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs to the side, and then
Or anywhere in between.
like that. Or a plus or out of 5, maybe out of 5 out of 10, who knows? And then George is going to give me 2 songs to listen to. I'll give him 2 songs to listen to, and they can be anything. And then we might agree on one song we've never heard before, and then review it. But we'll see. We might do this in the next few. It depends how many people we get. I sure hope we don't have very many people, so you can give multiple please don't send like 6 of the same band or a full album. If you're gonna do that, or not too much of the, you know what I mean. To try and give a little bit of a variety.
Yes, we would definitely appreciate some variety, and limit your submissions, because as much as we would like to think and hope to strive to be just absolute, just godly production and just being able to just deliver night after night and be like, oh yeah, like we could get through everything.
Yeah.
We're like mechanical animals. It's like, no, we're human. We have lives. We have things to do.
Oh, you're a human. I'm not. Oh, that's just you.
Oh.
That's just you talking.
Oh. Okay.
I am the
weird.
Matrix. I'm Agent Smith from the Matrix.
Okay.
I'm a program that's entered into this world.
Sure. Okay. But yeah, so
My name is Neo. Yeah.
We're people, and we can only go through so much, and
Uh-huh.
we want this to be a fun thing, like a fun
Lit
little
times.
like connecting with our fan base thing. And
We love our little fans.
and we would not, we would like it not to get too burnt out on.
But
it,
I'll
if that
be
makes sense.
I'll be putting on for every new song. My plan is to make a Google document with songs that we have not that we haven't that we have been sent to us, and then if there's a lot, then randomize like 6 or 7 per episode, and then.
Okay.
But then I'll put the ones we've done in a separate document, and then if we get similar requests that we've already seen, I can just look it up on that document and follow and go, oh, we've already done that. Yep.
Nice.
Something like that. So yeah. Also follow us on our Instagram. Just a couple metalheads. Instagram. It's lit. It's awesome. Good times that we had. We don't have a Facebook page. It'll be up in 20 years.
Yes, it'll take forever. Don't worry. By the time we're old men, it'll be out.
And we'll have like one person there, and that's Nurgle.
Exactly.
Nurgle's our biggest fan.
Woo! Yeah.
Yes, I'm a huge fan of the band. That was the worst Nurgle impersonation I've ever done.
It was so bad, dude. Come on.
I'm a huge fan of just a couple metalheads.
That wasn't better.
I can do anything I want. I think Axl Rose is our second biggest fan for whatever reason.
Axl Rose.
Yeah, and the drummer for Nickelback.
What's his name?
He's the drummer for Nickelback. No one cares. All I care about is Chad Kruger because no one likes him.
Well, there's that.
Devin Townsend's finger watches this too. Just his finger.
Is this his finger?
Yeah.
Which
his,
one? Which
his
finger?
toe finger. His foot finger.
Oh. Well, that's interesting. Anyway, guys. Thank you for listening to this.
Good times happened.
We hope you enjoy this. And again, like, I think one last thing to say, is it? I would say, like, we would welcome some, like, maybe some feedback on our email, like if like any recommendations of how we can make the show better, or what like ideas to improve our
talk about how
content,
well I'm doing and how I'm cool,
and how not well I'm doing, and how I don't do this great. Yeah.
Now, who is
it'll be
better,
great.
me or George?
It's
more
pretty
torn.
clear.
I'm
Anyway.
funnier, but my voice is I think my voice gets boring after a while because I hear it all the time. And then you're like the guy, you bring the philosophy into it, like, and this, and I'm just like, baguette, water. All right, thank you everybody. Yeah, bye.
Bye. Rock on.
Just so you all know, I always keep drinking toilet water. It's delicious. Radio.
Might as well jump.